it's a value, right? So the question was, why do I continue to train if there's no point, right? I'm not coaching anymore, I'm not competing anymore, so why do I still train? The answer to that is, it's who I am. And what's interesting is, if you do an action or a behavior long enough, it ceases to be simply something that you do, and it starts to be something that you are. And that's a deep difference right there. One is an action that you partake in, and the other is a piece of your identity. Gymnastics, and on a broader level, fitness, is a piece of my identity. That's who I am. Like, I cannot imagine a future where I am alive and don't look like this. It's just not gonna happen. And so when something becomes a piece of your identity, you refuse to give it up. With everything that's going on in my life, all the business opportunities, all the amazing things that are happening, if somebody said, hey, you can never work out again, you're gonna get ridiculously out of shape, but you're gonna get $1 billion, I can confidently say I wouldn't even think about it, and I would turn them down. Because to me, my health is priority number one, my freedom of movement is priority number one, and it's not something that I'm willing to compromise. So it's just an identity thing. And that's what's so interesting is, if you take something, this is why affirmations kind of work, right? And I'm gonna say kind of because it's not enough just to do the affirmation. But if you say, I am committed, I am committed, I am committed, I am committed, sooner or later you're gonna start to act in accordance with what you keep on saying. And when your words and your actions and your thoughts all align, you really start to become the thing instead of doing the thing. This is home. This gym is home. And not even this gym. Gymnastics facilities in general is home, you know? Because you gotta understand, like, when every major life event that I've gone through, this was the safe space. And it wasn't necessarily this gym. It might have been this gym. It might have been the Flip Fest gym in Tennessee. It might have been Huntsville Gymnastics Center, Madison Gymnastics Center. It could have been the club gym in Columbus, Ohio. There's a million different gyms that I've trained at over the years. But every major life event, it took place in or around one of these gyms. I remember going to the gym when I was probably 13, 14 years old. My mom was in the hospital. It was bad. We didn't even know if she was gonna make it. And then my dad left her, and of course she told us to do it because she didn't want me to be that concerned, even though it was a pretty serious situation. And he drove me to the gym, and I went to tumbling practice that night like I always do. And for maybe a cumulative 8 or 9 minutes out of that hour-long practice, I wasn't terrified that my mom was gonna die. And that's why the gym is home, right? Every single life event that I've ever had, this is the place that I go to. And I always tell people, you've got to figure out what your anchor is before you need it. Because by the time you need that anchor, by the time you need that thing that's going to hold you down, by the time you really desperately have no options left other than whatever that one safe spot is for you, it's too late. If you don't know what it is, it's too late. And so for me, this is a place where when the world's crumbling down, I can go to that trampoline right over there, and it's just all okay, even if it's a half a second at a time. When you're in the air, you don't have time to think about anything else. You're just in the air. And that feeling of weightlessness is not just physical, it's emotional and it's mental as well. It quite literally takes the weight off. And for me, that 30 seconds, and that 30 seconds can be during a whole practice, right? By the time, even if you're on floor like this, by the time you start a tumbling pass and finish a tumbling pass, it's maybe 2 seconds total, right? And you might do 30 or 40 of those in the span of a practice. So maybe you get a minute of solitude. But to me, that's worth it, because it's the only time, as much as my mind races, as analytical as I am, as serious about life and success and everything else as I am, that's the one time in my life where I'm truly, truly present. And it makes everything worth it. And that's why the gym is home.